We have analyzed many times the body language of people whose story, well, let's say doesn't match what they project with their body language. So I thought that for a change, we could take a look at the body language of a real victim. In this case, Sarah Ransom, who was one of the many women abused by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Before we get started, I'm proud to announce that once again, my complete body language and persuasion masterclass is open to the public and with a huge discount. In this program, you will learn the techniques I have developed over the years for my analysis, not only to read people, but also to be mindful of your own nonverbal expression. The course is 100% online and seats are limited. The regular investment is $1,200, but if you use the link in the description of this video, you will be able to enroll and have access to all my masterclass for just $199. So act now and join me in unlocking the secrets of human behavior. Let's start with her first words of her recollections about finally going up and being able to look Ghislaine in the eye.
It's something that I have worked very, very, very hard for the last 6 years. So that, I think my statement was about 4 or 5 minutes was...
Now, you might have noticed that there is a lot happening at the same time. We couldn't even let her finish her answer and we already have so many signals. Take, for example, how random were her eye movements throughout those 15 seconds. They went to the right, to her left, also up and down too. At the same time, she doesn't stumble when talking. It's important to notice that she doesn't rush her answer and is mindful of the words chosen. Her answer sounds deliberate, and it's something that we're gonna explore in a minute. It's undeniable that the eyes and the mouth are always gonna be points of interest when we are looking at a face. In the next clip, notice a gesture that she does with her mouth.
I was hoping that as a human being, she would have felt something. She would have at least acknowledged or looked or, but there was none of that. And
I told you to pay attention to her mouth on purpose so you could be aware of this very particular lip pressing. It's not a simple pressing, the one that looks like the lips just disappear, but in Sarah's case it's more playing with her mouth every few sentences. And you notice that she does it every 5 or 6 seconds. It looks a lot like part of her body language baseline of her usual nonverbal expression, but there was another clue on that clip that we missed. You're gonna watch the same clip again, but this time you'll be focusing on Sarah's eyebrows. To make things easier for you, I'm gonna cover her mouth so you can better read her brow area.
I was hoping that as a human being, she would have felt something. She would have at least acknowledged or looked or, but there was none of that. And
this is the reason why you should take your time with this kind of analysis, because most probably you did not spot the 4 eyebrow raises when focusing on her mouth. We raise our eyebrows when we want to connect with the other person. That's why we can also use it as a greeting. Sarah is showing those eyebrow raises in an effort to connect with the interviewer and putting Ghislaine as non-human, someone with no empathy or emotions whatsoever. Of course, you might be wondering why Sarah raises her eyebrows 4 times in less than 10 seconds and it suddenly stops. And that's why we have to take into account her words too. What was she saying at which moment? Even with just 15 seconds, you realize that her body language changes simultaneously with the topic of her words. Because at first she's talking directly about Ghislaine and then she uses general terms. And this kind of synchronization is what you're looking for.
I was hoping that as a human being, she would have felt something. She would have at least acknowledged or looked or... but there was none of that. And
what's so fascinating is that in this case, we are just looking at her eyebrows and listening to her words. This can get complicated, especially if we add voice tone, for example, but it's a very good place to start. It's much easier when you watch the following clip and immediately notice that her final facial expression is a direct reaction of what she's about to say.
The memory I'll take away from today that I will never forget until the rest of my, well, for the rest of my life, was hearing Ghislaine walk into court with the chains.
Yeah, she's delighted when she recalls the sound of Ghislaine walking into the courtroom with the sound of the chains. She found pleasure in that, and to some extent, she lets herself show it at this moment. And I say to some extent because you notice that hesitation, that first genuine smile, then maybe she recalled why Ghislaine was chained in the first place and what it meant for her own life, and then what we could call a bittersweet smile. But this complex emotional display is important for a good reason. When you're telling the truth, body language can be messy, especially in situations like this when the truth affects you directly. And even without any pressure, just recalling past events, it can spark reactions on the face. The hard part is making sense of those displays, and in this last example, when Sarah recalls the sound of Ghislaine's chains entering the courtroom, it's not a black or white emotion. It's not that she jumps from sadness to anger or joy in seconds, because that's not how emotions work. That is one of the reasons why so many people picked up Amber Heard's histrionic behavior in her testimony, because she jumped from absolute emotions in seconds, from sadness to anger and back again. That doesn't match her saying that she still loves Johnny. In Sarah's case, those bittersweet smiles signal a much more complex emotion that she doesn't know how to process. But it's great that for a split second she lets herself express that feeling. Now let's review everything that we have learned so far and try to apply it while watching the next clip. No marks or clues this time.
I've spent the last 17 years trying to get some form of justice, trying to put together life for myself. And I haven't been able to do that.
Most probably you were trying to listen to her words and at the same time paying attention to her eyes. Again, it's the most expressive area of the face and we are naturally drawn to them. And probably you notice another pattern of words versus facial expressions. Sarah says that she has tried to put together a life for herself. She looks down and to one side, a signal that she feels ashamed of not being able to do that. There's frustration too, because you saw that slight display of anger with her eyebrows. But hands down, the most powerful statement from Sarah's interview was this one.
I think the most difficult thing I've found more than anything, no matter what Ghislaine has done to me, I don't wish her harm, because I'm not like her. I don't want Ghislaine to be raped. I don't want Ghislaine to be hurt.
It's not that hard to spot that her body language follows her words. She authentically has let Ghislaine go. She doesn't have any power over her anymore, even after all that happened years ago. There's only one signal that is pulling her head back. Okay, Maxwell does not control or affect her in any way, but at the same time, this is not a place she wants to be. It goes hand in hand with the fact that she's not been able to build a real life for herself. Maybe after the verdict of 20 years in jail, she can find the peace she deserves. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.